Finland.
Finland.
Morjesta. Tämähän on siis vanha video ja minkä takia, koska mä tarviin täältä tietokoneelta lisää tilaa. Mun on kovalevyt ihan täynnä, mulla on vanhaa videomateriaalia täällä. Ja normaalisti mä teen niin, kun mä oon tehnyt esimerkiksi videon tänne YouTubeen, niin sitten mä oon tavallaan poistanut sen raakamateriaalin ja sitten mä saan taas tilaa kuvata ja tavallaan siirtää tonne tietokoneelle. Niin tää video on tosiaan viime vuodelta ja Puolan Varsovasta. Hypätään siihen.
Meni vähän hippaseen tää lähtö. Mulla on 5 minuuttia aikaa olla tuolla pysäkillä, katsotaan kerkeenkö sinne. Tuli mutkia vähän matkaa, mä joudunkin oottelemaan mun Uber-kuskia, koska mun Google Maps ei toiminut, mä en pääse pelipaikalle, joten se pitäisi saapua noin 3 minuutin päästä. Hypätään sen kyytiin ja mennään keskustaan. Hello!
Dobre.
Thank you!
Proszę bardzo. Good luck.
Thank you, bye! Ruslanin kanssa meni matka oikein mukavasti. Pieni kielimuuri, vähän oli matka hiljainen, mutta turvallinen oli kuitenkin. Mentiin oikein hiljaa. Se tiputti mut tohon johonkin hotellin. Nyt mun pitäisi löytää se tapaamispaikka. Mä en edes tarkalleen tiedä missä se on, mutta koitetaan etsiä.
The bike tours?
Yeah.
Yes, that's us. So please step into our office first and check in with my colleague. When you go to the gate, it's the door on the left.
Ah, okay.
So before the gate,
Yeah.
the door to the left.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for the bike tour.
Yeah.
Okay, do you have a reservation?
Yes, I have a ticket here.
Okay, I'm just going to... Are you going to need a helmet? These are free of charge and optional. So this is the most efficient way to brake, actually, especially if we are cycling downhill. Remember to use pedal back. What do? You stop, right? It may sound funny, but believe me, when you are in a group, and I have seen it thousands of times. All right, we're going in that direction, so please follow me, and Mohammed, I will be taking you here.
Matka alkanut, meitä on täällä 12, vähän joka puolelta maailmaa. Sieltä tuli hyvät ohjeet, mitä pitää tehdä ja mitä ei saa tehdä. Ja kun tien ylittää, niin pitää hypätä pois polkupyörän kyydistä. Matkan pituus on joku 13-14 kilometriä ja 3 tuntia.
Good job. I decided to put a big plastic fake palm tree there to make people think about it. She didn't really succeed in making people think about the Jewish past of the city. Everybody just started calling the roundabout the palm tree roundabout. But anyway, that's what Warsaw is also about. So you can see those elements that seemingly not fit, but actually then they get accepted and make the whole cityscape. Here's our next stop. Okay, so we are here just in front of the old town. We are not in the old town yet, technically speaking, and that's because the old town only begins where the old buildings do. So we technically would still be outside of the gates or walls of the old town of Warsaw. By the way, if you'd like to see the walls of the old town, here they are. So you can see where they actually continued and where the entrance of the old town would be. Pay attention to how many times the tour guides there are going to mention Sigismund III. My guess is 0. Even though when he became the king of Poland, he resided there in Krakow, because Krakow used to be the capital of Poland. It's a royal city very beautiful and full of history. However, there was one thing that made all Krakow hate Sigismund. Guess what it was? He was the one who actually decided to move the capital from Krakow here to Warsaw. So that's the reason why he's celebrated here as, the big man. But in Krakow, they don't love him anymore that much. Place called Piłsudskiego Square. I'm going to tell you the history of the last 400 years of Poland. 1700s. This is when this square was created. The Saxon kings of Poland decided to build themselves a palace here, which was standing just over there. So in front of the palace, they organized the square. Behind the palace, there was a park or a garden, which was actually the first public garden or park of Warsaw. But let's come back to the Saxons. Does anybody know where they came from? I'm guessing there are people here who should know.
Saxon?
Yes.
From Germany.
That's right. I was pulling your leg. This is one of those very rare cases when something did not disappear in Warsaw because of the war, but because of us, the Polish people. As soon as Poland regained independence in 1918, and by the way, this was very much thanks to that guy over there that you can see in between the buildings. His name is Józef Piłsudski. By the way, if you remember the first name of the square I mentioned, it had something to do with that guy. So he is very often called the father of Polish independence. It was in 1918 when Poland, after this long period of being occupied by the neighboring powers, was reborn. Square from the name of the neighborhood around here, which is called Grzybów. Then in the 1920s and the 1930s, Warsaw was the second biggest Jewish city after New York in the whole world. So the population of Warsaw back then was more or less 1.2 million people, and around 30% of its inhabitants were Jewish people, so nearly 400,000 people. If you take a look around, especially there, you will notice a Catholic church, right? So this is a sign of the fact that it was not just Jewish people, only synagogues and so on. Where the northern quarter used to be before the war, in order to enclose the whole Jewish population of Warsaw and many people from outside of Warsaw within the walls of the ghetto. This is actually the only surviving street of what used to be the ghetto of Warsaw, which has original buildings on both sides.
Meillä on 20 minuutin paussi nyt, sen jälkeen toi opas kertoo tästä paikasta lisää ja sen jälkeen me jatketaan matkaa.
That's a very socialist concept. So it was supposed to be like the cathedral of the people. People were supposed to be able to find institutions here that were good for them. So museums, cinemas, theaters, and stuff like that. And actually until nowadays, the palace still serves many of those functions. One thing is that we're in Krakowskie Przedmieście, a very difficult name to remember. You can see it written up there at a sign, number 4. Krakowskie Przedmieście means the Krakow suburb. Not him, his family would move out and the new king and his family would move in. So this is why elected kings of Poland very often build their own palaces in order to leave something to Warsaw, leave something to their families. So that's why many of those palaces used to belong to the kings. This guy over here, Copernicus published his revolutionary theory about the Earth going around the sun, not vice versa. the church said, not really, and they just, put his books on the list of forbidden works. You heard of John Paul II, the Pope? He was a Pope of the Catholic Church, and he was a Pope for a long time, more than 25 years. More than 25 years, and he was Polish. I don't know if everybody's aware of that. So when he was elected the Pope of the Catholic Church, that was revolutionary for two reasons. First of all, he was the first non-Italian Pope in like 600 years or something. And another thing was that he came from a communist country. So, the leader of the Catholic Church comes from communist Poland. So that was a big revolution, and obviously here in Poland he was a beloved person. And when he died in 2005, guess what kind of discussion started in Poland? This area where we are, it's called Powiśle, which literally means after Wisła, which is the name of the river, and the name suggests that this area used to be flooded because it's, the place where the river was. That's why it's called after the river. I don't know if it was clear, but anyway, believe me, that used to be flooded until at least the 1920s. One of the first things that started changing the image of this neighborhood was the university library that was built not far away from here. This place where we stopped before, next to the Copernicus monument, this is actually the university area. Just next to us there was the whole main campus of the Warsaw University. So the students from the main campus could just go down and go to the library. So this started connecting this part of the city a bit more with what is uphill. Do you know why there are mermaids across Warsaw? Because she's our official symbol. The mermaid is in the coat of arms of this city. Now why is that? It's, we are not a city by the sea, so why a mermaid? The legend has it that she had a sister, a more, fragile, girly sister, let's say, who decided to swim to Copenhagen from the Baltic Sea. Have you been to Copenhagen? You know that there's a mermaid there sitting on a stone, looking very Disney-like, I would say. Now her more muscular sister, who had, a potential to become a warrior, as you can see, decided to swim upstream from the Baltic Sea, and she came to the river and she liked it here. So she settled and she started singing, because that's what mermaids do well. So she started singing, everybody came to the riverside to listen to her voice, but as it usually happens in such stories, there's a villain. And the villain thought, okay, if everybody likes her so much, let's catch her, put her in the cage and start charging money from anybody who would like to listen to the mermaid's voice. That's what he did. But guess what happened? The mermaid said, no way I'm going to sing now. Instead, she started crying for help. And this was potential for a hero to appear in our story. So here he is, a fisherman from Warsaw, heard her cries. He sneaked to the cage at night, opened it, set the mermaid free. She was free and so grateful that she said, good boy, you are so kind to me that from now on, I'm going to defend your city forever. And that's how she became our symbol. This is why she's represented with a shield and a sword. So this is also something that you can expect from Warsaw. Well, maybe not expect, but what you can see from Warsaw, even though you don't expect it most probably. So city beaches. There are 3 beaches within the city center. One is here, one more is further down, more or less where the old town is, and one more further north. Each season the city makes sure that they bring fresh sand, they clean the beach, I just like it. I wanted to tell you a little bit about how deep it is. Any idea?
Doesn't seem so deep.
It's exactly 58 centimeters now. The level of water is super low. So 9 years ago the level of water was so high that actually there was almost no space in between the level of water and the bridge. So there was very tiny space. As you can see, the river is a live organism. So the level of water changes, and unfortunately this year there's been a very long period of time when the levels were really quite low. Even if you look at the water now, you can see the birds sitting on stones in the middle of the river. Can you see them? This is normally deep underwater, but it's quite low this year. So climate changes, unfortunately. This is a place that is known as the Multimedia Fountains Park, and as you can see the fountains are here but the water is gone. That's because it's already October. Each year they organize a light and music and water and laser show here that usually tells a story somehow connected to Warsaw. It's usually about legends and tales connected to Warsaw, but on Friday and Saturday nights people gather here on this hill and everywhere around, and they just watch the show. Now, another thing is that we are already where the new town is. Now, you may have noticed that where we started our tour, where our office is, this area of the city is called the new town. And it's very often misleading because you probably would rather call it the old town. And when people hear the new town, they imagine those skyscrapers more there in the city center. Anyway, historically, the old town of Warsaw used to be only this area within the city walls. And everything outside it, especially here on the northern side, was known as the New Warsaw. Because historically, that's where merchants coming to Warsaw were opening their markets, were spending the night, and so on. After some time, this area developed into a new settlement just outside of the walls of the old Warsaw. And for some time it was called the New Warsaw. Right, congratulations to you as well. You made it. Copernicus, some people think he was German. Chopin, not a very Polish name, as you remember. So some people think that he was French. And there was also one more person whose name was Maria Skłodowska. You probably have never heard this name, but if I tell you Marie Curie, everybody's going to know who I'm talking about. Is that correct? This is where she was born. There's actually a house just nearby over there, which is now her museum, and it's the house where she was born. So she was Polish. She was, I think, her younger sister, and when she was a very old woman, like 90-something or 100, she was giving an interview. For most of her life she lived in the United States, she was a musician, so it was basically an interview about all her life, right? And at a certain point she started speaking about her family, and she said, "I brought shame to my family." And you're probably wondering what terrible things she did, but she continued and she said, "I brought shame to my family because look, my mother, she got 2 Nobel Prizes, my father got 1, my sister got 1, my brother-in-law got 1, my husband got 1, and I'm the only person in the family without it." If you think about it, if you feel this pressure, I wouldn't like to be in her position. So nice family, but so much pressure. So even though she was a very talented person, she probably felt that, you know, not having a Nobel Prize and, you know, wearing this name, there's something wrong about it. Okay, so that was Maria Skłodowska and her family, and as I said, she was born here. Okay, so we're all back here. Congratulations on making it to the very end of this tour. You can leave the bikes where they are and we'll be packing them. And let me know if you know anything else. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, bye. Hirveä jano ja nälkä, mä en siis syönyt aamulla mitään. nyt on polkupyöräretki ohittamaan ja tein itselleni tämmösen luontopaikan, missä mä voin syödä mun eväät. Eli vettä sekä 2 banaania. Maasta sinä olet tullut, maasta sinä... Oi! Eikö se voi heittää tonne vai pitääkö mun hakea se? Kyllä se sinne maatuu. Sen mä nyt tiedän ainakin, että tää ei maadu. Kenen roska tää on? Muista peukuttaa. Tjaa!